Okay, welcome to a new review. Thank you for joining us today. And we have this. It's a Gwolves HTX 39 gram 4 kilohertz sensor 3395 demon of a mouse. Very, very impressed by this. We're going to talk about everything just about usability, battery life, what it's like to use daily, and we're going to compare it to what is my favorite mouse still, the Pulsar X2, and see how they compare. What would I change? What do I like about it? What have they done better? In fact, is it just a Pulsar X2 killer entirely? We shall find out today. Make sure you stay tuned.
A fucking kill cam on Warzone. It pisses me off every time. It's like to the point where I just gotta stop watching it because
two people down there.
Putting an eye.
Okay, so I think it's good that we start on one of the main things, and that's that I have it plugged in right now. And it's because this battery does not last. We're talking 4 kilohertz. It's 39 grams, and they have to cut the weight somewhere. I can tell you, they probably do that with the battery, right? The battery probably needs to be quite slimline, and it feels like it. If you're going to use 4 kilohertz, then you're going to use the original battery that comes with it. Expect to charge it maybe twice, maybe even 3 times in a day, depending how heavily you're using the mouse, really. So that's something to be aware of. It is not a long-lasting mouse at all. It will not last longer than a day if you have it on 4 kilohertz. However, they do send you a secondary battery. And what I've heard is the secondary battery, if you take it out and put it in, it does last longer, but it adds about 3 grams of weight. So it ends up being about 42 grams. That's completely up to you. I love the fact that this is below 40. I will suffer with the cable in it every now and then. However, from the Gwolves software, which I'll show on screen now, when you actually plug in the mouse here, it does set the polling rate to 125 hertz. The 4 kilohertz on this, I would say, is probably the best I've felt. I also tried it in the Viper V2 Pro with the dongle, and this just feels really, really good. What I used to find with the Viper is sometimes it goes into almost like a standby mode. I don't get that with this, although I've seen on some people's versions of this that when they pull down it gets some like sensor skipping. However, mine doesn't do that. Mine seems to be fine. Other features, the on-off switch is actually nice and accessible on this. I've seen some of the old versions of the Hearty and stuff like that. You had to put like a toothpick in there. I thought that was kind of a scary design. Definitely a bold one. However, this one you can quite easily just get your finger in here and just flick it on and off, so that's quite nice to have. They also send you additional parts with this, so if anything breaks you can swap stuff out. So I do like Gwolves for what they include in with the package. I'm not going to show the packaging today because there's a lot of videos that show that. However, we can talk about the holes in the mouse. I think one thing people are concerned about is if they do claw grip, if they put any of that knuckle area or the back of their palm on the mouse, are they going to be annoyed by these holes? Because you get the option of a full shell or you can have it honeycombed. Now I'll be honest with you, the holes are nice and small. I don't like the one thing I don't like is this, because I want to click here and this feels odd on my fingers. I don't know why, I don't like it. However, the actual palm contacts and stuff, I don't notice holes. It just feels a little bit bumpy, but it's not uncomfortable. It's actually really smooth. The actual process here is beautifully smooth. They've done great with the actual manufacturing on this. Okay, so let's talk about the shape of these two. The dimensions I was quite shocked to read. The mouse base is longer. The mouse height is actually 1mm shorter than the X2. However, the hump is more centralized and the hump is further back on the X2. The width is very, very similar. You're talking, this mouse is 2.5mm wider, and I think that measurement must be at the widest point, which is the rear. It then goes in at the middle. So I would assume the actual width is approximately the same around the sensor placement. The sensor placement's very far forward on this. Again, on the X2 it's very central almost. If I align the front of the mouses, they're kind of on par, but then obviously that's what you're thinking about. This is what's going to be coming into your palm. So in terms of a claw grip, this mouse is absolutely amazing. You got a lot of stability here. Your finger placement is right by those sensors again. It's very similar to the Lamzu Mini in this sense. However, In terms of weight, in terms of general feel, this just feels like a much more premium product. This mouse is very easy to grip in any way, shape or form. It can be clawed. It can be, I've got my knuckle there. It can be fingertips where it's fully open. It can be palmed where your palm is completely flat and you've still got good placement of your fingers. You could even, there you go, full flatness if you really wanted to go for it. The length gives it that adjustability to just be a very good all-around mouse. No matter how you want to grip it, you can do it all. What they've done in this mouse is very clever. They have not used plastic to reinforce, but instead actually used the PCB to stretch across the whole mouse and reinforce the sides of the mouse. It doesn't flex at all. There is no creaking, there is no clicking. Everything when you squeeze this mouse doesn't move. It is solid. The skates are these nice little 0.7mm PTFE dots, and what they've done as well is this base is so flat you can actually put any skates on these. I've talked about exactly what I like, but what would I change about this mouse? There isn't a lot. I really like what Gwolves have done. They've done something incredibly unique, and they've fulfilled a sub 40 gram mouse with a 3395 and 4 kilohertz. You won't find anything else doing that unless you mod it yourself. The only thing I would like to see is a slightly heavier implementation of the scroll wheel, and the side buttons are just too light for me. Some people, they really want the light switches. They have smaller thumbs than me. Whatever the case, it might be fine for you. They're just little things too. It doesn't ruin the mouse. However, every time you accidentally put an input you don't want to, it could get you killed, and that could be a problem. I would still sit there and say that this mouse is generally more preference related towards me. It just does everything I need a bit better because of my grip style. However, I still can't get off of this mouse right now. There's something about this mouse that just feels so nice to use. It feels like a bit of a challenge to use. It's so light. I don't know, I can't find myself wanting to get off this mouse, especially in aim trainers. The 4 kilohertz in aim trainers feels incredibly smooth. That is something that I am struggling to get away from at the moment. Really enjoying it. If you have any questions at all, let me know down in the comments. Happy to answer. If you actually want to go to Gwolves' website, you can use code OOT and get some money off one of these and buy one through the code. If you have any questions at all, let me know down in the comments. Always glad to help. Oh, and quickly before we go, I just want to mention I've been sent this mousepad by FreeFallMFG. It's actually one of the best mousepads I've ever used. It's not even released yet. I'm going to be dropping a review on this very soon, so stay tuned. Take care of yourself, guys, and see you in the next video.